5 financial ways we can assist clients who've lost a loved one.
Welcome to another episode of Millstone River Live, a podcast brought to you by Millstone River Wealth Management.
So today's topic might be not as upbeat as our normal, but no less important. We work with clients all too often, far too often, in the days and weeks following the loss of a loved one, a family member, or a dear friend. And we know that these are difficult times for the family, emotionally and financially. Usually, not always, one family member shoulders the burden of becoming the fiduciary as an executor or a personal representative or a trustee. And their responsibilities come with roles that they might find challenging, especially if they've had little experience doing this before. So for complex estates, executors and trustees need a good understanding of several financial concepts and may require the advice of their attorneys, accountants on these legal and tax matters, but also on financial topics. And that's where we can help coordinate these efforts by counseling and educating the family on all of the financial matters, as well as on working with these other advisors to ensure that the planning that was done in advance is achieved. So, Adam, I thought maybe what we could do today is share 5 ways that we help either existing clients or potentially new clients who've lost a loved one to get through the estate.
Sure. Let's give it a shot.
All right. So I mentioned about educating those folks, especially who have had little or no experience dealing with this in the past. Tell us more about financial education.
Well, grieving is very challenging. Add on the responsibility of being the executor or trustee of the estate. It can feel overwhelming. So education is where it starts. We need to first help clients understand what their role is, their fiduciary role, and make sure that they have a strong understanding of the relevant financial topics that are going to come up. And that includes educating on investment products, inherent retirement plans, maybe payout options of a pension, cost basis issues, or just, general tax concepts. And education isn't only for the trustee. It can be other family members and beneficiaries of the estate that we want to get involved, to let them know that things have changed and let them know, what resources are available to them, but how they should be prepared to receive them.
Yeah, that sounds like an important place to begin for sure. You alluded to, and I mentioned in our introduction, that there may be tax or legal ramifications for working through an estate. And of course, our firm, Millstone River Wealth Management, we don't provide tax or legal advice to anyone. But I think we do a good job of coordinating with those other advisors who may be counseling the family on those issues. Maybe you can take a moment on that.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's the coordination. It's to recognize that the trustee should not be doing it alone. We can't do it alone. There's going to be other professionals that are going to allow the estate to make informed decisions and make this process easy. But we can quarterback it a little bit. Sometimes there's a reluctance from a lack of understanding or relevant questions for a trustee to go out and get professionals, and that can cause delays and greater expenses for the trust or estate. Our job is to help coordinate these conversations to ensure that they're conducted in an efficient and timely manner. And with the direction of the client, we can even attend meetings and conference calls and assist in getting relevant documentation that the CPA or attorney is going to request.
I think that's an important point that you just ended on because, I know from firsthand experience and meetings that I've attended, I think I spared a fair amount of stress to our client by not having to go back and forth and say, well, this one told me this, what say you? And, it's like when you're a kid playing that telephone game where the message sometimes is skewed by the time it gets to the second or even the third person in the chain. So I think by attending those meetings, we can reduce stress. We can probably enhance the accuracy of what's going on. We can make things a little bit more efficient and timely for everyone involved. And that's got to be a good value.
Yeah, and in these matters, efficiency also sometimes means less costly when you're being billed. So to not have to go back or, make someone give more than one opinion because not all the information was there is very important.
Agreed. How about when clients that died or the relative of a client that died, when they're working through this estate, what about the assets that we don't currently manage? I mean, how do we play a role to be helpful there?
We're still educating and coordinating, and we're involved. We didn't mention sometimes there's physical real estate that's owned that needs valuation or potentially has to be sold. So, add in a real estate professional to their team could be part of the process. And if it's other, investments that, maybe we were not sold by us or managed by us, they still require paperwork in order to provide instructions, and we're there to help understand the questions that are being asked of them and assist with decisions that need to be made in conjunction with other investments that we have, and that includes participating in conference calls with a service center that's processing a claim for a life insurance policy. Or just in general, dealing with other institutions to make sure that everything is done in a timely and efficient manner.
So you mentioned paperwork. A lot of times when we get a call from someone to say that they lost a loved one and they're going to be looking for some help on dealing with the estate, I always feel like the first thing we do is we send a note of sympathy. But then the second thing should be to give them a big file folder to start collecting everything they need. Probably one of the most frequent topics for questions that come up along the process is about just that, the documents, and what do I need to have and what do I need to keep and what should I get rid of? How does that work?
And that's one of the areas that can be most overwhelming for people because there is instructions that they need to retain records and statements for a certain amount of years, and that documentation may contain sensitive data that, when you're finished with it, needs to be appropriately managed or destroyed. We're there to help and sort through the paperwork, statements, tax returns, and other documents to determine what needs to be kept and, what can and should be discarded. The one other thing, too, a little bit of a commercial, but for those that are, putting together their own financial plan, this is something that if you're organized, you can make, your, heirs, your loved ones' lives a lot easier if you yourself were prepared when with us versus when, your loved ones don't know where documents are or where to turn. That just exponentially increases the level of stress that can be part of this process.
For sure. A lot of times, too, people think that when they create an estate plan, usually with the help of an attorney, that everything is done and taken care of. But in fact, the person who's handling that estate, whether it's a trustee or an executor, whoever it might be, they are faced with a series of decisions when it comes to these different financial matters. What kinds of things should people be prepared to make decisions about?
Once you've gotten your ducks in a row and you're organized, now you have to make some important financial decisions. And one of the most important responsibilities is to ensure that the beneficiaries receive estate assets at the highest value available. This requires you making decisions about minimizing tax impact and managing risk. As an advisor, we can help you implement strategies such as, looking at valuation dates, managing inherited retirement plans or IRAs, and, allowing you to distribute assets efficiently. We try to coach you through these decisions to help ensure that you're meeting your obligations as a fiduciary to the estate or trust.
So these are just 5 ways that, we often assist our clients or our new clients, maybe the, beneficiaries of our clients, let's say, sometimes, to kind of work through the financial aspects of an estate. And there are many more. And if you have questions about those things, we, of course, always welcome your inquiry. In addition, you may not feel that your own personal estate is as buttoned up as it could be, and maybe setting aside a few moments to have a discussion about that and what topics to think about, how to get your own plan put together so that your family and your loved ones are best prepared for whatever may come in the event of your own passing. We would welcome that call too, right? So thank you for joining us. This is not always an easy topic for people to talk about, but nonetheless, we reiterate it's an important topic, and it's much better to talk about when everybody is alive and able to discuss it openly than it is later when things have to be done, not always under ideal circumstances and always with the added stress of having lost a loved one. So we appreciate sharing this with you, and we want to make certain that we are available for existing clients, the family members of clients, and people who want a little extra help with financial counseling on these estate matters. Thanks very much for listening.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Millstone River Live. Feel free to share it with someone you think might benefit. Millstone River Wealth Management is an independent wealth management firm based in New Jersey. We form a supportive partnership with our clients and help with financial education and planning. We welcome your feedback. Send comments or questions to podcast@millstone-river.com. More information about our firm can be found online at millstone-river.com. Thanks for listening.